Hi, my name is Phyllis Y. Whitley. If you have been spiritually victimized and traumatized, welcome to Spiritology Live, where I will bring my #1 Amazon best-selling author book to life, Spiritology. Each episode will be a spiritual, metaphysical, holistic space of consciousness where you will learn to break your religious shackles within and live in your promised land today. Let's go. Hello, everyone. I am here and I am ready to give you, literally, this is going to be part 2 because I talked so much. I try, as you have seen, to break it down less than 30 minutes, but sometimes I just go, hoo. And it's so much to say. And I can't say it all. I can't give you but the dessert, the dinner's in the book. Now, with that being said, we really touched bases on a lot of things the past few weeks. And one of the things, the last episode was replacing your illusions with truth. I tried to go in there and show you how the system have this seed, which is the rebellious seed, and it shows up in politics, it shows up in Hollywood, it shows up in sports, as you see, as a lawsuit going on. And it literally, people say they don't want to go into the past, I don't want to know, but then they shock. Your kids, when they are faced with challenges in that rebellious seed, your kids shouldn't be coming home saying, oh my God, I don't know what happened. Your kids should understand. They should say, oh, I'm dealing with this rebellious seed. Because see, I'm not here for you to go knock on your neighbor door, your family member door and say, get that, I cast that religious, spiritual seed out of you in his name. No. You have to fix you. You have to control your environment. It's things that I touched basis on. Meditation, prayer. Prayer is meditation. Affirmation. Oh, I don't believe in repeating that. But you go ahead and repeat those curse words, songs you hear all day. You still are affirming. What are you affirming? Over and over, you have a tape in your head of how your neighbor cursed you out, how your neighbor looked at you upside down. You over and over, you hear someone tell you will never be nobody. They might have even called you the N word, the S word, the F word. Do you understand? And you got it in your head, It's going to manifest. It's going to manifest because you're going to curse the wrong person out. This is one of the reasons why people go and beat up people. I just did a book on bullying. Bullying is with grown people also, because that rebellious seed have to manifest. We discuss all of that. And today I'm going to put some emphasis more on the illusion. Why is it an illusion? It exists. I can see it. I can smell it. And you say illusion. Well, because it's a word that was planted, which is a seed, in your spirit, your spiritual body. People call it the subconscious mind, so you could manifest. The purpose of these illusions, because it came from generational. We got to go in the past. How do you know who you are if you don't know your past? Why do you think they have, I don't even know, what is that, ancestor? All kind of stuff where people go back in their past. I mean, you really get to understand who you are when you go back in your past. Well, I don't want to go because I heard about that. If you're a Black American, I don't want to know about slavery. You should go back and you should know. So you can take the mistakes and learn from it. So you know you are not carrying. How you know you don't have that slavery mentality? That's how they bring it to the generational. It's the same as a person who's feel that they're supreme. I'm more supreme because I was told that my color of my book is better than yours. They heard that from the family, the neighbor, the community that they was in. They don't know no better. You might have met somebody who's a different culture, different race than you, and they look at you and they say something. Because they're angry. They only told you what mama or daddy was saying in the kitchen. But why is it an illusion? Because you really can't touch it. If you curse somebody out tomorrow, are they going to bring the words over and say, Mommy, let me show you the words? It's not there. It's there. It's in the spiritual realm. You can't touch the spiritual realm. So that's why I said it's an illusion. It's there to make you think that it is the truth of you. And we are going to talk about the truth of you. I'm going to put more emphasis on illusion. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to give you some solutions. Let's look at my meditation and spiritology book. This one is called meditation quote, and it says, your flesh have one job, to kill you before you realize you have a spirit. Woo, that's deep. Some of y'all not going to get that to next week, next month, next year. Some of you got to put the book down. I can't take her. I cannot take that woman in her book. Put it down. Keep doing what you're doing. If it's working for you, go ahead. But if you are tired of the lies and you want to know the truth, stay tuned. Go back and digest my old episodes and welcome my new ones. What did that mean? Your flesh. This is your physical part. What about your flesh? Those seeds, your flesh. Your flesh is going to come through other people. The seed is going to go through the flesh. Okay? You're not going to walk around and the seed is going to start talking to you. So these seeds are planted in the people, in their mind, and they are flesh because you can touch them. And your own flesh and other people's flesh, even I speak a lot about spiritual leaders who are leading the shepherds the wrong way. Shepherd slaughtering. And this is a man or woman who is physically have a flesh. And they're not teaching you about the spirit. Because see, when you learn about your spirit, you learn to feed your spirit. And what you feed and pay attention to is going to grow. And it's going to prosper. And it's basically going to manifest into the physical realm. So your flesh, you can't rely on just your flesh. You have to go and you have to look at the spiritual part. And you have to make your own illusion into the truth of who you are. I really didn't understand it. That was confusing. I am so sorry because some of y'all will never understand unless you at a level of wisdom, unless you want to receive the truth. I am not going to knock you in the head. Some of you, I have people who worked under me. When I say under me, let me change that, beside me, prayer warriors and all of that. And everybody have their messages. And they say, coming to me is like coming to boot camp. That's why I got one of the prophetic whisper boot camp. And they don't like my method, my philosophy. And then, everybody is different. Some people, they don't like the way I deliver the message. Somebody told me that. Been with me for over 10 years. And yet they went from A to Z. Life has totally changed. And it hurts me when people, I ain't even going to go, I'm not going to give anybody a platform here. But the point I'm trying to say, you can be hurt by some of the people. Everybody's not going to celebrate you. And people, that seed, rebellious seed, will turn into envious and jealousy, and it'll turn around and literally convince you that the person that celebrates you is the one that's really your enemy. Let me tell you what your enemy is. I know my pastor told me it's the devil. The devil, yeah. The devil is in you. Oh, I can't listen to you anymore. Bye. These illusional seeds, or should I say rebellious seeds, are going to come and tell you things that is not true. And it can be true for somebody else. But you can't not let that seed tell you will never be nobody. This rebellious seeds really now go after the children. Because if they can screw up your kids' mind, you got to be very careful where you send your kids for education. Go interview the teachers. Look at the school. Go in there and walk and see how the bathrooms look. And some of you say, well, listen, I'm in the ghetto. I can't, whatever. You can't, but also it is a such thing as people who homeschool. You can get some education there. And then guess what? If you like the teacher, you can homeschool. You have no excuse. And if you don't like your neighborhood school, get on a board. See what you can do to make it better. Volunteer. Give them things they can use in the school. Be the one who go and make sure that the teachers have all the equipment that they need, especially during this time of the pandemic. With that being said, is you have control over the illusion seeds, or should I say the bad seeds, that is there to damage you and tell you will never be nobody. Yeah, we know back in slavery we was told not to read. Why? Because the reading, when you start reading, you learn the truth. You putting something in your ear gate. You feeding your mind. Remember I went back to that book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill? The main thing is that the enemy was in you, that is limitation, wants you to stay idle. Your mind to stay idle. See, if you have a blank piece of paper and you don't put anything on that paper, consider that your mind, then anybody and everybody can come and write down on that paper. But if you have a blank piece of paper and you start being creative and you start writing your plan, God said, write the vision. See, if you write it down, affirmation is just you affirming something that is written down, that you put a creative word. It can be somebody else's word. You affirm it so it can become repetitious in your mind. So you can constantly, you're feeding your subconscious mind some words. I went to spell words and spell. In order to know the word, you have to know how to spell. Good spell, gospel. I know y'all gonna take this gospel, good spell. Y'all say, nah, she playing. No. It's in the manuscript. I have to reference that because that's my source. I want to be here. So let's go back to the illusion of truth. Who told you that you would never be nobody? Was it somebody in authority? And then you can be you see grown people, when you see a grown person is hurt, say, you're in a relationship and the man say something about your thighs, you go rapid. Why do you think you go ballistic? Because that was a seed that somebody put in your head when you was a young girl. Yes. And you believed it. See, the seed is in you. The seed is in you. The seed have literally grown and y'all have these babies. The seed will manifest and have his own baby. That's why you have to make sure you water the plants. I talked about that. Feed the plants. That's feeding what goes into you. It's a metaphor. What you do on the spiritual side of yourself, you got to feed that spirit so it can really overpower your flesh. Why do you think people running rapid? Why do you think people are addicted to things? The gluttony spirit, I can't stop it. I just gotta eat into my stomach bust. I don't care. I'm just addicted to everything that's not good for me. And then you see what I'm saying? Your flesh take over. It's called discipline. That's why God got the laws out here. That's why there's laws, physical laws out there. Well, I don't believe you. Well, go get on the highway and see what happened if you go past the speed limit, the speed law, and see one popo be right behind you. Do you understand? Soak that up a little bit. You have to take care of your spiritual side so you can manifest it in the physical realm. What you see out there is an illusion because it's coming from somebody else's manifestation. You don't have to watch the news every single morning, noon, and night. You know what? I don't look at the news. Now, only certain events I watch what's going on. Election time, I do look at it. But when it comes down to, and some news, you want to get, because some people, newscasters are good and they can deliver the news a certain way. But I don't get into the news to the point I am repeating it over and over and over. And I'm getting on the phone and say, girl, you know what's happening down the street? Do you know so? I mean, disasters and all of that, things like that where they have an event happening. But I don't soak in it. Because if you soak in it, it becomes repetitious in your mind. And then you get and you produce this thing called fear. Delusions, the rebellious seeds. It's fear. It's to make up fear. Because when you fear something, you're going to say, I'm not going that way. Because somebody told you would never be nobody, you say, oh, what's the purpose of me going to college? Because they said to you, you ugly. What's the purpose of you going and becoming whatever it is you want to be? You just feel lifeless. You just feel I'm ugly. Everybody's looking at me. You can do anything with that. The truth of the matter is that you was beautifully made. God made no mistakes. The truth of the matter, you are not, you're labeled. The truth of the matter, you can change what's labeled on you. The truth of you is that you can go and specialize in something and become something great. The truth of you is that if you don't like what they're doing in sports, you become an owner. The truth of you is I can go ahead and I can study science without everybody in my community laughing at me, because nobody in my family or in my community or even in my culture have studied science. The truth of you, you can become a doctor. I don't like the medications and stuff that they do. I personally used to be a pharmacy tech. But you know what I did? I got into the holistic side. I'm not going to pick it and tell the pharmaceutical people, this is you doing a wrong job. But I tell you what, I mute my TV. I don't want to hear that mess. I don't want every commercial telling me an illusion. I do everything I can to go into into the holistic field, the holistic community. I learn what I need to learn. It is so much, other words, there's so much that you can't do. When you get in your promised land, well, I'm in the ghetto and I don't have any money and I can't make it to my promised land. Your promised land is when you wake up every day and you have your heart's desire. And one of your heart's desire is to breathe. To see when you wake up. You want to. And if you can't see, your heart desires to breathe, to live. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Create your promised land right now. Prune all of those bad, rebellious seeds that was taught to you, spoken into your ear. How do you do it? You have to replace it with the truth. I mean, it is a scripture. Let me see if I can find that scripture. Because see, some of y'all don't believe nothing I say. And y'all literally is like, I don't get it. You know why you don't believe it? Because you don't even know what the Bible tells you anyway. You don't know what your preacher is telling you. And I will say to you that the truth, John 8:32, King James Version. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The what? The truth shall make you free. See, the illusion of lies. Because someone look at you cross-eyed or any kind of way, like, you know what? I just don't like the way your book cover looks. I don't like the way your book cover. I don't like the way the book is shaped. I don't like the way what's in the book. I don't like the words in the book. When someone start doing that, they was lied to. They was told that they got the best book. You can't go fix them, but you can fix yourself. You can literally tell yourself, let me replace these lies. I am wonderfully and beautifully made because my Creator made me. Could you imagine if everything was one color? Hello? Everything. I got a coloring book out, speaking of which, called God's Color. Colors all around us. And yet we judge people about that color. You purple, I don't like you. I have my favorite colors, but that doesn't mean that the other colors in the crown box is no good. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot turn around and take the truth out of the illusion out of somebody. They're going to speak what they speak, but it's how you react to it. Are you going to walk around the rest of your life and never be anybody because so many people told you back to back you would never be anybody? Or they even showed you, you know what kills me? When somebody bring a blueprint and come and tell you, well, you know the building you're trying to build is not going to work. Okay, thank you. And they'll tell you why. But you are not that person, and that person is not you. You can't turn around and stop that. But you can create your own promised land, change your own household, change yourself, change your family, change your community by walking into your promised land. And as you walk into your promised land, you will see manifestations coming your way. You can manifest you getting out that ghetto. Somebody once said to me, why do you live in the place that you live? My mother told me years ago, you're going to pay extra to live in better. And this is why I said to him, I said, who am I going to help by living in the ghetto and staying in the ghetto? How can I tell them anything if I'm still right in their face? They're not going to learn nothing until they see me come out of the ghetto and see my promised land. It's nothing wrong with you. How should I say? You cannot use the ghetto as an excuse. You can use it as a stepping stone. God said, I'll make your enemies your stepping stone. You can use it as a stepping stone. Yes, you can go back and you can help a lot of people get out. You can go back if it really concerns you and let that be your audience. If you've been labeled, go back and let that be your audience. Do you understand? The truth will set you free. That's why many ages ago, we was not allowed, a certain race was not allowed to read. Why? Because reading is a way to feed your spirit and your mind. Remember they said, you don't want to waste your mind. I don't want to quote that. But you don't want, it's a terrible thing to waste your mind. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your mind. You don't want to waste and become paralyzed to the bad, rebellious spells, which are curses that was put upon your ancestors, your community, and your family. Look at what's going on. Just because somebody in your family died of an illness don't mean that you have to die. You have to replace it, but then you got to feed it. You don't sit up there and if somebody in your family put the whole lard or the whole butter on their potato, or they just love to eat pork every day, and I'm not knocking pork. I'm going to do a book about that. You can stop right there and say, hey, wait a minute. I'm going to learn how to make this and I'm going to make it in a better way. Me personally, I love me some soul food. I love all kind of international food. But when I get into my soul food, I know that people, it's just that they are cooking from their mother or father table, and they're going to put ingredients in it that is proven factor that raise up your cholesterol and your blood pressure. And I said, no, I don't want to have the same disease my mother had. Do you understand? And disease don't always come from food. It can come from what you're putting in your mind. We'll discuss that another time. Remember, I'm a cancer conqueror. And what happens is, they may tell you, the doctors may tell you and give you treatments. But when you go home, is anybody telling you that you might want to change what you put on your table? What was you eating before cancer? Did anybody tell you might want to change what you putting in your mind? Were you stressed out all the time? Were you living in your rebellious seeds? Because stress and all of that play a major part in your body. Your body with disease is really a diseasement. What are you telling and feeding yourself? Oh my goodness. Here we go again. Thank you for coming into my space. Now go get your promised land. And again, share, review on all your social media. And I'm going to share it on mine because your people don't know me. But you know what we want to do? We want to join and lock forces, not to hurt or harm anybody, but just so we can get our promised land and make a difference. And if you don't like what's going on in the world, go get your platform. Your platform is your promised land. Take your eyes over what somebody is not doing and put your eyes back on your household. Now, you want some more dessert. I know you want the dinner, you got to go get my book. But if you want some more dessert, get some of my books. It's on Amazon. My t-shirt, you want to express yourself, no harm done, go on Amazon. My t-shirts are on there, and it's called Phyllis's Whispers. And what's new? Hopefully by now I'm going into my next book. But I got a couple books that came out in 2020. Actually 2021. 2020 was my first book, Spiritology, and that's what I'm here doing. And I'm going to soon have a class to show y'all how to take your messages and make it a book or even a podcast. With that being said, Ask Jalen, that was #1 release on Amazon in the month of February of 2022. That particular book is about a friend of mine's whose son is a teenager, autistic labeled, who literally would give advice to the unique. The unique is those who has been bullied about their label. And it's a good book. People are getting it. Go get it and give it as a gift to somebody. I'm telling you, how do I write these books? You know what? Tell me in the reviews, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to tell a story? What do you want me to write? What do you want me to write? I'm going to write it next. What do you want me to speak about in the episode? I'm going by my book, but whatever you want me to cover, I'll find it. Remember, if loving yourself is right, you don't want to be wrong.